Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dan. Welcome back to another Executive Functions video. Today we're going to be talking about time management, my definition of time management, and how I help my clients with time management. So what is time management? The way that I think about it, time management is our ability to manage our focus time and our break time. Now let's really think about this, right? When we are not managing our focus time well, what happens? Our brain energy gets really drained and we're not able to focus on the things that we really need to focus on. We're more easily distracted and it takes longer for us to accomplish the tasks that we need to accomplish. So when we are not managing our focus time, we begin to become unproductive and ineffective, right? Now, our break time. If we're not managing our break time, we all know what happens there, right? We begin to procrastinate. And when we begin to procrastinate, a lot of different things start to happen in our brain chemistry. We begin to feel bad about our productivity. We begin to feel bad about ourselves. We have doubts, we have fears, we have anxiety that kind of builds up about our capacity or our capability to be successful. So really managing both the focus and our breaks are super critical. And the reason I say this is because a lot of the times when it comes to time management, it's all about managing our energy levels as well, right? Our focus takes a lot of energy. Our breaks are meant to refuel our energy. So it's important that both of these are doing what they're supposed to do during the quote unquote like work periods of your day. So now one of the main challenges that a lot of my clients with executive function challenges face is their ability to have enough energy or motivation to keep doing a task or even initiate a task and not be distracted by the distractions that are going on and stuff. And they're constantly asking me, hey Dan, like how do I keep motivated? How do I keep energy levels up? And it all comes down to managing our focus. But it also is very important that we're doing breaks correctly. Now let's talk about this. What does it mean to even take a break correctly, right? So taking a break correctly, the way that we like to talk about it is taking a productive break. Now this doesn't mean that during your break you're gonna go like wash dishes or do your laundry or whatever, right? Because that for some of us could be fun and that could definitely be a productive break if that's what you think is relaxing for you. But if it's stressful for you, then by all means don't do it. Use that as actually a focus period, right? If doing dishes and washing clothes or whatever is going to be stressful, use that as a focus period activity. Now, your productive break activity should be something that is relaxing. It should not be social media because social media ends up draining our brain. It causes us to focus on too many things, etc., and stimulates our brain. But what we want to do is we want to go outside, take in some sun, take in a deep breath of fresh air, right? And get all the happy hormones in our brains going that helps us de-stress and get rebalanced in our lives. So that when we come back to focus, we're actually refueled and ready to go. So how do I help my clients with this? What I generally like to do is I like to have my clients set up a 60-minute timer and do an activity that they deem as something that requires a moderate amount of focus. It could be setting up a work presentation at work, or it could be writing a term paper for school. Whatever that activity that is moderately difficult, choose that as the task. Don't choose something that's like crazy difficult because then it can be very frustrating to manage both the task itself and figuring out your focus period. So as you're doing this task, have a timer on for 60 minutes. And as you're doing it, keep an eye on the timer and begin to notice when you feel like you're beginning to be distracted. And generally speaking, our attention span lasts anywhere between 30 minutes to 45 minutes before we begin to lose focus. And for those that have executive function challenges, it could literally just be 10 minutes or 20 minutes. And it also really depends on the task that you're doing, right? But begin to kind of have more self-awareness of when you begin to lose focus. And let's just say you lose focus around the 30-minute mark. Then maybe what you want to do is set your productive or your focus period to 25 minutes, right? We want to refuel before we begin to lose focus. We don't want to wait until we begin to lose focus because that leads to burnout, right? We don't want to use up all of our energy before we refuel. So if you lose focus around 30 minutes, maybe set your focus periods to be 25 minutes and then take a 5 to 10 minute break and do something that's relaxing and rejuvenating for you. It could be listening to music, going on a walk, whatever that is, right? and alternate between focus and breaks, focus and breaks. And set aside some time that you feel like is a good initial goal for being productive. It could be a 2-hour time period, a 3-hour time period. It could be even an hour time period, whatever it is, right? And allocate focus, breaks in that 2 to 3 or 1 hour time period. And see how that goes for you. See if you feel like you are keeping up your energy levels. See if you're maintaining your focus. See if you're able to actually transition from the break to the focus, right? But ultimately, really pay attention to what happens after you're done with that 2 to 3 hour productive period. Do you still feel as drained? Do you still feel as exhausted? And the goal is, if we're managing our time correctly, that we don't feel as drained and as exhausted. We actually feel just as good as we did going in. Or maybe not as good, because we did some work, right? We're gonna feel a little bit tired. But the goal is to try to manage our time so that we don't feel exhausted at the very end. So go ahead and give that a shot. Hope that was helpful. Talk to you guys soon.